So we are back, and I think we stopped with discussing my microblading journey and how terrible it was at the beginning. And I remember having this meeting with my friend who was already doing microblading, and just told her, "Will this horror will ever end?" And did you had this downfalls as well? She said yes. So it's not only me, and we all went through this. I think in this video, I just want to be honest with you and want to tell you all the story, the problems I went through with microblading and shading, all my crying nights and just being so depressed. But I made it. I mean, I'm at the point where I have a lot of clients that I can't take all of them, and I'm at the point where I'm making money and I'm not stressing out as I did before. So if I were bring myself back, and if I knew I would be at this position as I'm now, maybe I wouldn't believe it, because at that time my skills were really bad and I was almost giving up. But the thing is that kept me going is I didn't have any other option. I studied electronics engineering at school, and I didn't see myself being engineer at all. And I went to study PhD, and it was hard for me to think that I will be in a company sitting all day and doing engineering. So microblading at that time looked for me as something I would be interested in. The only thing that I was missing is the skill. And microblading, what I see now, it's actually just making your hand. It's like a muscle. When you train, you train, you train, and suddenly your muscle grow. I think it's similar with hands. Once you train, you draw, you draw, you draw. You develop that skill, because what it takes for the crisp stroke is actually having your hand stable and filling in the pigment inside the same stroke over and over again, not messing up the stroke, and drawing precisely and keeping the distance between strokes. You can always learn microblading pattern, because there's so many microblading patterns available on the internet. Even you can ask me, you can contact me, I will send you the PDF file. What is difficult in this microblading is have your hand stable. I will give you the example. Microblading is something that I've already learned and mastered, and I don't have the problems with it. But then the next level for me is the hair strokes. So how did and when I started the hair strokes with the machine, I was realizing that I'm going through again the same this I'm going through the same period as I went with the microblading at the beginning stages. That I'm the newbie. I'm just like everyone who is starting. But what I have in my mind is the idea that this is very possible, even though my line right now with the machine looks wavy, even if it doesn't look straight as my teacher's line look. I clearly know now that if I do this every day, if I practice and practice and practice, my line will look exactly perfect as my teacher's line is. And I am telling you, because I have this idea in my mind that I will master this, because I mastered this with microblading. It turns out, indeed, after just 1 week of constantly practicing over and over, hours and hours, I don't know why, but my hand, it's a miracle. It gets so stable that this line is so straight and it's so perfect. So, and same with microblading, just give you an advice. Pick one microblading pattern, memorize the microblading pattern, draw with a pencil over and over this microblading prints out. Just draw over, memorize the pattern, then microblade it over hundreds of times. Microblade just single stroke microblade, just draw, stroke by stroke, 100 strokes, 100 curvy strokes, 100 curvy strokes to the other side, 100 double curvy strokes. Now, some students do worry because they don't have maybe the art skills, they don't know how to draw the pattern. Again, you can find some patterns on the internet and just memorize them, keep the same distance between the strokes, make it clean and nice so you can even draw this microblading pattern with your eyes closed. Okay, with that being said, this is one problem. The other issue is, of course, there's so many issues with the problems I went through, but I know for some people the mapping brows is a big problem, struggling with getting your eyebrows even. Yes, I went through that as well. Interesting fact, indeed, your eyes get to be trained, and now you see more better if the brows are even or not. You can do this much faster. However, the tip I would give to the beginners, I've posted a very good video about mapping brows using a thread, which if you memorize and master just the process of how you put the thread in which positions to make your brows even, it will actually is very handy and it's very easy and it will shorten your mapping brow time. Also, I advise to use the white pencil to outline the brows, because just to use the pencil to shade in the brows is one thing. You don't really see the borders because pencil is soft and the edges are not that crisp, so there is a bit of mistake you can make during the procedure. By the way, if you have more specific questions about the problems you're having with uneven brows, let me know in a comment, because it was quite a long time. I already forgot what exactly issues I had with uneven brows, but I had them. I think when I found out there's so many things when the client's skin is always moving, or he has this one muscle go up, this brow always go up, or when the face swollen and this skin is soft or like a jelly moving, it's also very hard to draw the brows on such skin, but it's always how you tell your client the truth that it's impossible to do the even brows because you have this. The other issue I had is, of course, the pressure when you do the microblading, and especially it was all blurred out. I even posted the picture on my Instagram when I did the microblading. It was my mom who I did the microblading to. I got a lot of comments on Instagram. Poor lady, she might hate you, or she might, did you redo her brows? I didn't redo her brows because it was my mom. She's so proud of her brows, honestly. And when we go outside together and somebody asks, so what's your daughter, what's she do? And she would be, she's doing the brows, look at my brows. She did it for me. And I'm like, Mom, please, could you not tell people that I did your brows? She's proud of them, but honestly, it's hope she won't watch this video. And always my microblading pattern looked patchy. Because at the beginning stages I picked the very difficult pattern with complicated curves, with complicated intersections. And now that I think I should have started with a simple pattern, which is also on my YouTube, check that out. It's just a straight lines, but they kind of combining together that it doesn't look that fake as you might think. It's very easy to slide the ink through. The retention is really nice. The healing doesn't look patchy, it looks clean. That's the very big issue with the beginner artists. Another major problem is the ink. At that time when I was using by touch, all the brows went red and very flashy orange. Such orange color, which I don't know how it could turn out that bright and that unnatural after a time for the microblading. So What I would do differently, of course, is invest in the course. But now the problem is with a lot of courses, and I hear from many students that they go to a courses, even expensive ones, but they do not teach well, they do not give this knowledge, and most importantly, the technique to practice, the technique to master the skill, the technique to position your hand. They just show, but when you go home and you don't know, you see she does very beautifully. You see the teacher on the video you took on the phone, she does so well, but when you try, you can't make it, and then you just give up, and then you just so they are not giving this techniques to actually help each student to master, to improve their skills. Not having enough clients. I was lucky enough to start my Instagram profile and Facebook with good pictures just because I had the editing skills. I had the camera, even the cheaper one, but with the lens I had it, so I knew that would be beneficial. So I took my profile as something very important that really helped me. I pushed the Instagram advertisement. I were commenting, pushing through groups, asking my friends to come, asking the eyelashes studios whether they can take me, whether I can rent a space there and we can exchange our clients. About the competition, I think there are so many people in this world, and if you have this determination that you will make it, you will definitely make it. And just try not to listen, try to focus. You know you will get there. Practice takes time, you know that. Your hand will improve and it will change. Your eyes will see the even brows. Your eyes will pick the right color. You will learn how to talk with your clients. Everything will be in place if you constantly research, improve, and watch YouTube channel. So that is my story. Share your in a comment. Follow me on Instagram for useful tricks, secrets. I always post useful information on Instagram. Even the website has very useful blog posts. And by the way, I'm coming to Australia. If you want to guys connect with me, maybe even meet up, or you want to book me for coming up to your studio, just reach out to me and we'll figure out the way. So yeah, I'll see you in next videos.